Welcome back to the Living ABSD podcast. I'm your host, AB, short for ABSD, they, them pronouns. I am the founder and facilitator of change at a better standard direction, and it is such a joy, gift, and honor to have you here in this space with me today. The Living ABSD podcast has the intention of helping teach people how to begin to create a new standard direction of living for their own lives through the lens of love, healing, and personal responsibility. I find it such a gift to get to be in this space with you, you divine being, you. It is so fun to get to talk through these topics through my own lens of teaching, through my own experience. And today we're going to talk about the fact that you are divine. And if that makes you squirm just a little bit, I do invite you to stay. If that makes you feel excited in your body, incredible. I do invite you to stay. Before we dive into it, we are going to tune in and breathe, take some deep grounding breaths together, 3 to be exact. And I will set an intention before going into this space. All right, let's breathe together. If you are driving a car, please don't close your eyes. But if you're not, the invitation is to close your eyes and breathe along with me. All right. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Two more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Last one. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. I call upon my divine spirit team and guides, angels, ancestors, God, universe, creator, source, invisible forces, rainbow spiral, and any energy that vibrates at divine love or higher that wishes to enter into this podcasting space with me today. Allow flow, movement, grace, and love to be present here. Allow this podcast to find all of those who need it at the right time and space in their lives, where this wisdom and guidance that is flowing through me as a channel can find them exactly where they are. Let there be play, joy, laughter, and just bliss in the creation of this podcast today. And so it is. I never know what's going to come through when I tune in and set the attention for these spaces. And bliss is a word that I have not yet found in that, which is interesting for that to come through today. And so being in the bliss, being in the bliss, which bliss is such a part of my divine knowing and my divine tune. When I tune into myself, I love being in a blissful state. I love creating from that state. So it feels very aligned to be present here. Today's episode is You Are Divine. Did you know that? Did you know you are a divine being? If you didn't, now you do. Every single being on this planet is divine and has this special divine spark inside. That does not just encompass humans, but spans over the vastness of all creation and pieces that are a part of this interconnected web on this planet. You are a soul living in a body that is a vessel to you here in this lifetime. Both are sacred and are meant to be tended to as such. Do you take care of your sacred vessel? I, for so long in my life, did not see my body as sacred. I saw my body as an inconvenience for much of my life because I grew up in diet culture and lived in this body that I felt did not serve me, but actually harmed me because of the outside societal stimulation that I was experiencing around it. But once I started to really tune into my body being this sacred vessel and loving this body as it is and listening to what it needed, being in tune with the foods that I ate, I was able to really start caring for this sacred vessel that I live inside of. Our earth is divine as well and is our home. Our earth is actually the most fucking divine. She is so divine and so magical and so abundant and so giving, so generous. And we as humans tend to live on the side of destruction and extraction instead of living in reciprocity and restoration with our earth. The way we treat our earth is also the way we treat ourselves because we are the earth. We come from the earth. Are you treating the earth as if she is divine? If you're not, are you treating yourself as if you are divine? Probably not. Those two things do impact each other. The cause and effect of one to the other is potent. Being in a human body is a miracle, one that many people on our planet right now take for granted due to this great disconnection that we are facing due from our systemic failures. We are creatures that are deeply connected with the earth, and the connection within ourselves stems from the connection with the earth. And the disconnection that we're experiencing on such a vast scale right now, especially in the Western world, it's happening all over the planet, but especially in the Western world, is due to the fact that our system teaches us to be disconnected in order to survive. I think about this every time I go into a retail store, which is not very often, but I try my best to not order things online any longer. And sometimes I go into a pet store to buy pet food. And every time I go into one of these stores, or even like a thrift store, like a box thrift store, I feel immediately my body goes into disconnection mode. The lights, the lack of natural light, there's no fucking windows. There's just, and how loud it is. The music is so loud. And we as creatures are not designed that way. We are designed for natural light and for slowness and for the quiet of nature sounds versus the loudness of cars and of music in stores and of just the nonsense that is all attached to that. This is not a failure on us as individuals, but as our system has created for us to be cogs in this machine so that we can support capitalism. But you are so much more divine and sacred than that. Part of our divine light is understanding the gifts that live inside of you. The nudge that tells you there is more. There has to be more than this. There has to be. The connection with yourself that is uniquely yours and uncovers new ways of connecting and thinking about the world as a whole. The spark that is why you incarnated at this time and place with your specific life experiences to learn and tend to the aliveness that exists inside of your DNA that is a gift to yourself and to the world as a whole. Awakening to this divinity inside is part of an important turning that is happening on our planet at this time. This awakening is needed in order for us to usher in the new world, in order for us to band together as a collective whole to be part of this great turning. When we begin to see ourselves as divine, there is an invitation to see your life as sacred. The way you take care of your life, the way you take care of your body, the way you take care of your mind and your heart and your spirit, the way you take care of your wholeness interconnects with the collective as well. A life that is worth living. You are worth a life that is living. You are worthy of that. You are worthy of that. You are worthy of that. Not moving through disconnected and asleep. A life that acknowledges your birthrights to be loved, to belong, to have your basic needs met, to be worthy. a life where we choose to tend to our own vibration so that we can aid in the betterment of the collective whole. Your vibration is your responsibility. Nobody else can choose what is in your alignment. You have to choose that from your values and from the sacred knowing you have inside. A life choosing to do things differently from the prescriptive norms that are not helping but harming us. Choosing to do things differently from the prescriptive norms. If it is harming you, it is not aligned with your greatest good or with the greatest good of all. Something to chew on. A life where you are mindful of the way your specific actions are harming the environment and earth around you, including the way you tend to your body with food, movement, media intake and connection with the earth. What we consume impacts us greatly. That's physically with food, mentally, emotionally with social media or the videos or the TV shows, movies, music. All of these things impact us. Have you gone outside and put your feet on the earth recently? Have you gone for a walk? Have you hugged a tree? What are you allowing into your divine sacred vessel, being that you are? And are you harming yourself in the process? Are you harming the earth in the process? Are you harming others in the process? If any of those questions land in a yes, then how can you shift to do things differently so that you are not creating more harm, but you are helping yourself and the environment around you in the process? This is not an instant gratification, like I'm going to check this box and everything's going to be okay and I'm no longer going to create any more harm ever. Like that's not realistic. But trying to take small steps to being more mindful of the way that you are putting your energy is so important and is makes an impact on the micro and macro level. Every single thing we do to help and heal ourselves does impact this collective energy that we are all a part of. You are powerful. Use your power for good within your own life and the world around you. When we take the time to connect with our own inherent divineness, it teaches us how to connect with the interconnection that exists in all. When I walk and I see nature growing through the cracks, I find divine spark in that. When I am talking with someone that really irks me and I disagree with that person's energy and the way that they are, and I find myself in this judgmental place of mine, I catch it and I try to shift back. Sometimes I can do this in the active moment. Sometimes it has to happen after because I'm human. Of seeing the divine spark within them too, and whether or not we agree on how that is moving through the world, I can see that we are all collectively traumatized and that the way that that individual cares is still care. And I can find the divineness in that. And doing that helps me disconnect from this harmful place of being into a way that feels more healing. Did you know that you're made of stardust? We all are. Did you know that you're made of the earth? We all are. Everything we put in our bodies, consume, sit with around us is alive. Everything that is alive. The food you eat is made of the earth, which becomes your body. Did you know that we are direct vessels of communication between the earth and the cosmos? We can tap into our divine nature to communicate with both. This is one of my favorite practices to do, to recognize the smallness that I am on this earth, but even how small I am in the greater vastness of all. I love to plant my bare feet on the earth and ground into the hot, fiery core of our great mother Gaia and root into her so that I can expand upward and outward into the vast cosmos of all, which then as I zoom outward and I end up in this vast vacuum of space and I can see the earth, I love to have her circulating in my heart as I am spreading love over her and over our entire solar system. I continue to zoom out. At first it's just our great mother earth in my heart, and I zoom out so that I can hold the other planets in our solar system, and then I zoom out so that I can hold the sun, and so then I zoom out so I can hold the entire solar system as a whole, and then I zoom out so I can hold our entire galaxy, and then I zoom out light years and light years and light years hundreds away, and so I'm holding multiple galaxies, and then I zoom out even further until I am holding the entire creation of space, and then I zoom out even further until I am in the vast nothingness, until I am in the void where creation has not yet existed. And I zoom into this place where I am watching the expansion move towards me, because our universe is constantly creating, constantly expanding, just as we are inside of our own bodies and self, because we are a divine piece of this universe. The universe is me, and me is the universe. All is one. And in this divine zooming out, in this creation that I am a part of, I can sit in this fertile void, knowing that expansion is moving towards me, knowing that I am safe to be in the nothingness, to be in the everythingness, to be all connected to everything else, because I am a divine creature and a divine being in this great unfolding of the unknown, of the universal telling through my choices, my actions, my words, and my creations. Everything that I do impacts this expansion inside of my own body and inside of the greater universal knowing of that fertile void that I am sitting in, until this creation moves towards me, expands all the way over my body, and I am part of the creation again, and no longer in this fertile void, because it continues to expand and expand and expand to me, through me, and with me. And as I began to move back inward through all of those different pieces and back into my human body vessel, as I continue to move back into this body that is rooted of the earth, that is sitting in my heart along this greater solar system, I know how small of a speck of dust that I am in this vast creation, but still how important I am in my divine self, because I am divine and I am worthy of that in every piece that I offer. We can tap into this divine nature in communion with both. It is such a joy to get to do, and I am in process, as I am writing my rainbow spiral method thesis, of creating guided meditations to offer, to walk people through some of these practices to really tune in. And one of those practices is zooming out in meditation and seeing what comes through. So look forward to that. I sure do. We have such great power inside of us. And that power gets watered down by the noise inside of our own minds, the lies that perpetuate, the worries, the fears, the limiting beliefs that tell us that we are disconnected from our birthrights, and honestly watered down by not having our basic needs met. Like the way that society forces us into these bubbles that make us spend our time in certain ways, that make us spend our energy in ways that are not serving us, but actually continuing to keep us disconnected. That disconnection keeps us from tapping into our true divine nature. The way we spend our time and energy, the foods we eat, the way we tend to ourselves, it either waters us down in our divineness, or it helps us tap into our power I can tell tremendously the difference inside of my body when I have eaten something that I know is going to support me versus something that is has so much artificial bullshit in it. And I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I can tell in my own body. And I have no judgment for it either. Like, we all are in survival. And I find myself in the survival dance, going to foods that I know are not going to serve me, but do serve me in that moment because I do not have capacity to make a meal that is going to fuel me in the way that I need. And I'm navigating that in my own life of figuring out how to break those patterns. But I also still have grace for myself in those moments where I don't have the space to do what I know will support me because I am exhausted and I know that I need to eat and I am surviving in those moments. I also know that some people don't know any different. Some people are raised in homes where these skills are not taught, and we don't know what we don't know. And so being able to learn what we don't know, we don't have the questions to ask. We don't know how to do some of these basic fundamental human things because they weren't taught to us in our basic homes of origin. That is not on you. That is a systemic failure. It's also not on your parents. It is a systemic failure because your parents probably didn't know either and are also trying to survive and just doing their best in that, which doing our best is enough, even if it is failing the people and ourselves in the process. What would happen if you started to view yourself as divine? If you saw yourself as a being worth caring for, as you are the most precious, valuable light that ever was, well, guess what? You are. You are a precious, valuable light. So, how can you do something today or treat yourself as the divine being you are? Chances are you may be surprised by the impact it has on your life. When I started to see myself as a divine being and tap into the sacredness of what my body, mind, and spirit needed to feel in full embodiment, I was very, very surprised by the impacts it had and by the ripples that it unfolded in other areas of my life that could have never been foretold. But the universe, the creation of all, our earth, is filled with magic and miracles each and every day. So allow yourself to be surprised. I would love to further connect with you, divine soul, outside of this podcasting space. If there's anything here in this podcast that you would like to have further conversation about, call me in or out for, please send me an email at absd@abetterstandarddirection.com. If you are not yet familiar with the movement, please check us out at abetterstandarddirection.com. There are lots of new, beautiful things that are entering into this space this year. And so continue to check back in with us, join our email list. We would love to stay connected with you. I send out a newsletter very sporadically, and it is when I am feeling inspired and there are new cool shit things going on, or I have the space for it. So it is not consistent and it is not often. So I would love to have you on our newsletter list. And just in general, I would love to have you and your divine energy as a part of this movement, whether you are for the first time ever in your life hearing the word divine in reference to yourself, or if this is practices that you live with each and every day. You are worthy and needed here. As you are, we accept you as you are. With that, go out, love loudly, be your most vibrant and authentic self. The world needs you and your unique thumbprint, the gifts that only you have to offer. It is such a gift to sit in this space with you. And yeah, I love you. Till next time, be awesome. Bye.